going on. He figured it out. Whenever they mention, like I know a dude, or I used to know a dude named Milton, and he was the biggest goofball.
I had a Milt.
Really?
Who was like our high school musical guy. He was like the athlete slash
theater dude?
Theater dancing, and we used to change all of our dance numbers so that like he could do something because he couldn't really dance, but we needed men in the group. I love Milt. One of my favorite people of all time.
Milton was a short, dumpy little goofball of a child. We called him Sega because whenever he went home, he didn't do his homework. He just played his Sega. And so we knew Milton from like 7 to 8. And then Milton leaves Clarksville, Tennessee to go with his father or something like that. And then comes back at 11. And Milton is swole all of a sudden. Milton hit his growth spurt.
Did he change and go by Milt?
No.
See,
no.
That disrupts my theory because I feel like Miltons stay like pencil pushers, glasses on the nose, and then Milt like transforms into a beautiful butterfly.
I've never heard somebody shorten Milt.
Really?
Ever. Also, with this hurricane notwithstanding, are we still making Miltons?
Haven't met one since.
When's the last time right, I've only met one. And when's the last time we've seen a Milton in the wild?
No, we know Melton, DeAnthony Melton, but that's a last name. That's not by choice.
Yeah, and that's not Milton.
That's not Milton.
Yeah, no. Completely different.
Do we have any celebrities?
There's got to be older Milton celebrities.
Milton
Brando, isn't he one?
That's a Marlin.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Close enough. Both have an M and an N in it.
Milton Babbitt was an American composer.
Okay. That doesn't count.
Milton Bradley.
Didn't I say Bradley? I said Brando.
He purchased Hasbro in 1984 and
what was
sold
the song?
It in 1998. Oh, it was a twofer. Went straight from Stir Fry by Migos into Castle on a Cloud from Les Mis. That is like my music library in a nutshell. It was a perfect way to start a Wednesday. What's up, everybody? It is a Wednesday, October 9th. Gonna be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the WNBA Finals are set. We are getting Liberty, Lynx. The two best teams from the WNBA's regular season will match up in the finals. We'll get into that. We'll do a little oops, we missed it again. Stories we have not gotten to yet this week. Among them, the annual NBA GM survey came out yesterday. We'll see where the Grizzlies, where Ja Morant and a couple other players popped up along the way. Also, a new Super League proposal in college football. Another one. It's different from the other one. This one's called Project Rudy. We'll see if it makes sense, if we like it, plus updates on Major League Baseball playoffs and more. DeAngelo Williams will join us about 40 minutes in. Never know what we'll get into with him. And then we'll end with a little WTF Wednesday. Included in that, Doodle Crocs, Hurricane Milton, AI won the Nobel Prize, and a new exercise pill that apparently makes you feel as if you just ran a 10K. Also, if you're joining us live, be sure to vote on the story time of the day. Your options are boundaries, mom, no celebrations for a lazy kid, chronically late wife's comeuppance, and gender disappointment. Get over it. Be sure to smash that like button along the way. You know what we say. Yay! Yay!
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
If you were promised by an assistant coach somewhere $100,000 to transfer to a school, and we got, pretty deep into the season, fourth game's coming up, and you still ain't got your money, you walking away like Matt Sluka is at UNLV?
If I'm promised this and the checks aren't coming,
right.
I'm a businessman first, right? Like, forget this academic stuff. These are not student athletes anymore.
Right.
These are paid independent contractors to play football.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all 3 games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5 point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you. We are making it through the week. CJ, how did you spend your Tuesday night? That I thought was Thursday and asked you how your kickball game was and then realized that's not for another 2 nights and it's only Wednesday.
Been battling a headache. So I think I finally got it under control. Been battling this thing since Thursday. This is the first time that's ever happened. But once I got it under control, we ended up watching another episode of How to Die Alone. We watched, what's the show with the 2 old dudes and the young chick?
Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders in the Building.
I love how that's so easily identifiable. Who's the 2 old dudes and the young chick? Only Murders in the Building.
And then I watched the
Lynx
Game
Sun
5 Lynx Sun.
Game 5 Lynx Sun. I had to catch up on Game 5 Lynx Sun because we have another show at the Orpheum. You did not come to the Orpheum last night to see the girl from North Country. And I just wanted to say, before we get into the WNBA Finals matchup between the Lynx and the Liberty and their win over the Sun last night was the perfect example of why I love art and I just love things. Because 90% of people can really not like something, and then 10% can, and it makes no sense. Like, I went into last night's show, and it is the second show of the season at the Orpheum. We just had MJ the musical, which is such a crowd pleaser, right? Like, everybody walks into MJ. It was packed. People are dressed up in their best, like, Michael Jackson pseudo clothing. They're trying to do the hee-hee. They're trying to do the dance moves. There was just a certain energy going in. Last night, a bit of a different story. The diehards were there. It is a show that all I knew used Bob Dylan music. So it's another jukebox musical, but that is not a really fair representation of Girl from North Country because while there are Bob Dylan songs in it, it is more of a sad, kooky depiction of the Depression era in Duluth, Minnesota. If that doesn't get you going, I don't know what does. And then Bob Dylan songs come up within. But I had heard not great things going into it, honestly. And I had never seen it before. It came out right before COVID. It closed because of like all the theaters closing during COVID, and then it didn't reopen after. And I gave Chris, for the very first time, because I am a staunch never leave a show early. Like, these are performers, this is their job. I think it's disrespectful. If you're going to go, stay through the whole thing and then give it your best. I don't know, either you like it at the end, but like give it a chance, right? Because sometimes the first act can be kind of and then the second act takes over, or you might walk away still not liking it. But if you bought the ticket, stay for the whole show. But I told Chris going into last night, because we have the first Grizzlies preseason home game coming up on Thursday. It's been busy getting back in the swing of things. I was like, if we hate it, we can leave at intermission. And his eyes lit up. He was like, you've never said that before. I was like, yeah, well, it's an interesting week. I'm not really jazzed going into this one. I like a couple Bob Dylan songs, but I knew they weren't even going to sing the times they are changing in this show. So, like, what are we doing here? But we went and we saw a bunch of people before the show, ran into a lot of friends who had the exact same game plan. They're like, I haven't heard very good things about this. I'm going to leave at intermission if it's not very good. We go, intermission pops up, and Chris looks at me, and I think he anticipated me to say, all right, let's go. It's time to go. And I really enjoyed it. Like, it was so weird. It was all over the place. It's a bunch of different storylines going in. I found this review on Reddit that is not a good sell of Girl from North Country, but please, like, allow me and my interpretation. And we had multiple friends who stayed through intermission as well who liked it. But this review said, I just saw the show and I just can't for the life of me figure out how this got made. Were there Bob Dylan songs? Sure. Did any of them matter to the plot? No. Did I enjoy hearing them played in typical jukebox musical fashion? Absolutely not. I struggle to remember leaving the theater completely hating every single character as much as the show. I felt bad for the touring director who had to stage this, and embarrassed for the actors who had so much talent, but were left to wander around the stage, occasionally yelling and occasionally singing at each other. This wasn't a Broadway show. It was a trauma dumping under the banner of art. And I thought it was so interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Wait, what trauma was there?
Oh, so much trauma.
Oh.
It's like a couple, it's the Great Depression, so no one has money. Everyone's fighting. It's set in a flop house, so it's like the owner, a flop house?
What's that?
I don't know. I assume based on the show last night, it's a house where people went that was like very, very cheap to live in after the Great Depression. And if you had to leave your home or lost your home, and it cost very little money to stay in a flop house.
So
Do I know why they call it a flop house? No.
It's just your family in the flop house, or
no,
are there other people?
There's others. It's like a boarding house.
Boarding house. There we go.
But they kept calling it a flop house, and I liked it. It was a flop house. But the owners of it are having trouble, and like the guy is gonna have to sell it or leave it or just lose it. Turn it over to the bank.
Forrest Mama has a flop house.
Yes.
Got you.
Similar energy to Forrest Gump's mother,
Got
Sally Field. But this is in Duluth, Minnesota.
It's cold up there.
The wife of the husband, it's like implied that she's sick, but they never explicitly say, but she essentially has dementia, but she has these bouts of just, she's one of the most batshit crazy characters I've ever seen. And there's never a real, Chris was like, what's wrong with her? I'm like, it's provocative. You're supposed to fill in the holes by yourself. There's a alcoholic son. They're a white couple. They had a black daughter in 1930s Minnesota.
What? We call those slaves, don't we?
No, she was left at their flop house once upon a time, and they took her in as their own. But she's pregnant, and it's like kind of questioned if it was like a phantom pregnancy, like, is she Mary Magdalene? They never explicitly say like how she got pregnant. It kind of just hangs over the show the entire time. No spoilers. I have a feeling most people aren't going to see it. Go see it. It's so interesting. It's art. It's the artiest of art. My friend Keith, who was there last night, said it was like one of his favorite shows. It held his attention more than any show. He's not a big musical guy. The craziest storyline is there's like an adult.
Wait.
Yeah, crazier. I promise.
Crazier than the black girl adopted by white people in the 30s?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is like a family who was clearly used to be very, very wealthy, and they're dressed very nice. Now they're in the flop house. Times are tough. But they have an older, disabled son of, like, it's not explicitly said, like, what is his affliction, but he has outbursts. And you find out, like, I'm just going to tell you because it's fine. You find out that he, like, may or may not have had an anger outburst and killed some people, and so they're kind of on the run protecting their son.
Is he Lenny?
Yes, that's what I told Chris. Was like, what is this guy? I said, he is Lenny. He's Skinny Lenny.
Oh.
He's Skinny Lenny from Of Mice and Men. And then there's this scene. At one point, Chris, Jalen and Keith were over to the left. We were in the middle. And Jalen said she saw Chris's face when this moment happened, and she couldn't stop laughing because I won't give it away.
Go ahead. I'm not sure.
This guy dies, and
Okay.
then in an instant, he's in like an all cream suit, like in a shining bright light, and he's essentially singing from the dead. And Chris's face just goes. He wanted to leave so bad. I told him he could leave. I told him 6 times he could leave, and I would stay. But he is a good husband and stayed with me.
You, walk you home at least.
Yeah.
So what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Walk home and then come back and get you,
I
or
don't
have
know.
you walk in that? I know.
There was also a narrator who was a doctor who was handing out morphine.
Well, that's what they did back then.
I know. Just 6 drops. Don't take more. You'll get addicted. It was implied that like maybe he killed himself at the end, but I'm not sure. I thought there was going to be a murder-suicide pact, but then that didn't play out.
I really want to see this play
oh,
now.
Oh, I forgot the best part.
Wait, it gets better.
It gets better. There was a surprise disco ball. It's the
Oh,
1930s Minnesota. They absolutely did not have disco balls. But suddenly, there's a disco ball, and the maybe has dementia, maybe not mom is singing like a Rolling Stone.
Let's get it.
And she's like crawling on the ground, and her feet are in the air. I'm telling you. What? But I was
sounds
never
like a fever dream.
That's what Chris described it as. He said he asked me to put my hand on his head. He said, "Do I have a fever?" I said, "No." He said, "This is like a fever dream." I swear, it sounds crazy, but you should go because only you can decide for yourself. And I support the Orpheum. And they're starting the season with 3 jukebox musicals of completely different variations. With MJ, now this, and then the end of the month, Halloween week, is Moulin Rouge, which I'm amped for. I cannot wait. But I appreciate them taking the risk, right? Like, it's really hard because when you're a regional theater and touring companies are coming through, like, you take risks on shows. I will say one of the most walkouts I've seen at the Orpheum. Oh, I forgot about the barking preacher.
I'm sorry?
I forgot. There's this whole preacher character who's not really a preacher. He's just like a snake oil salesman selling Bibles. But he starts barking, and I clocked in my head. I said, at least 20 people are going to walk out because of this barking preacher doing like a 1930s exorcism on the kid who may have killed the people, but we're not entirely sure because nothing is laid out for you. Absolutely nothing. But they did take a chance on it, and I hope you go. There's a ton of like really, really like definitively great shows this year at the Orpheum. But if you are interested in exploring something just a little bit different, may I suggest? Girl from, did I sell it?
We've seen.
I think I sold it.
We've seen and we've talked about, I'd say, over a dozen Orpheum shows.
Yes.
This is by far the best description I think of any of the shows over there. And probably the longest. We've been on this for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
This fever dream
It
of
was
a show.
fascinating. And then randomly you get like a little snippet of, I always forget Bob Dylan did Make You Feel My Love. Because we all know it as an Adele song. You would know it. When the rain is going in your face and the whole world is on in your case. Yeah, that's a Bob Dylan song. And suddenly you get that. The vocals were incredible. The performers, A+++. And they all play only instruments from the 30s. So they're like banging on cans.
Oh.
They've got like a fiddle going on.
I love a good fiddle.
I love a fiddle.
I love a good
You
fiddle.
pull out the and the disco ball.
And
Like
nobody's-
all the best fiddlers played under the disco ball.
Nobody has to be
For
on the
show.
roof for the fiddle.
All right. They played the song Hurricane, which felt a little, not good considering the circumstances surrounding the world. We have to talk about the WNBA game from last night. Do you want to take a break first? Are you making me take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break and then
You don't want to go straight from the fever dream of the girl from North Country into
here's
game 5
The issue is
of the
pulling
semis.
the curtain back. Mm-hmm. You do that, we break at 8:32,
Okay,
and
okay.
then we're right up against DeAngelo.
I
so
love
we come
to
back
pull
for
the
like
curtain
3
back.
minutes and then go break again. So yeah, let's break, get into the WNBA playoffs.
Fine.
Oops, we missed it again. And
Oops, we missed it again.
Oops, we missed it again.
Nafisa Collier is awesome. We're going to talk about it on the other side because the Minnesota Lynx are into the WNBA Finals to face the New York Liberty. We will break down last night's win over the Sun. We'll talk about this new proposed college football Super League and the NBA GM preseason survey that has the Grizzlies finishing 6th in the West. We'll talk about if that's fair when we come back.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Number 9 is going to go into the rafters this year, and so make sure if you don't have tickets already, go grab those.
Okay, then.
March 15th, you know the night now.
Yo,
Tony Allen,
let's
Jersey
go.
retirement night. You got a big-time night, too. A Saturday night against Miami is this is a great
Yeah,
one.
that's lit. That's lit, man. Big shout out.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If you were promised by an assistant coach somewhere $100,000 to transfer to a school, and we got, pretty deep into the season, 4th game's coming up, and you still ain't got your money, you walking away like Matt Sluka is at UNLV?
If I'm promised this and the checks aren't coming,
right.
I'm a businessman first, right? Like, forget this academic stuff. These are not student athletes anymore.
Right.
These are paid independent contractors to play football.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now? That's more relevant. It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. The Minnesota Lynx. We started the show talking about Minnesota, the girl from North Country. Great segue into the ballers of North Country.
Chris has been texting me nonstop also.
And whatever. He's a hater. We separated last night. He went and slept at the doghouse where we're dog sitting. I put him in the doghouse, and I slept at our condo because we were, we couldn't come to conclusions over the great art that was the girl from North Country. But speaking of the North Country, the Minnesota Lynx into the WNBA Finals after beating the Sun last night 88-77. Napheesa Collier is that girl. She is the girl from North Country. 27 points on 10 of 16 shooting, 11 rebounds, also had 4 blocks. That is your defensive player of the year, putting up those stats last night. And these are her stats from the last 3 games. You take a good look at them because we have never seen a streak like that in the WNBA playoffs ever before. She is the first player in WNBA history to record 25 or more points and 10 or more rebounds in 3 straight playoff games. We have said it often this season. Napheesa Collier is one of, if not the most well-rounded player in the WNBA. Yes, the MVP award rightfully went to A'ja Wilson this season, but Napheesa Collier certainly made a case for herself, and her play is one of the primary reasons that the Lynx find themselves into the finals and why the Lynx were one of the best teams in the regular season as well.
That game got away from the Sun about midway through the first quarter, and that was it. And I think that Napheesa Collier is that do that, right? Like one of the best hoopers in the NBA. Courtney Williams was to me the one that really jumped off the screen. Just watching them play. Her ability to take and make tough shots is incredible. She's also a more than just a pest on defense. She's a good defender, and that team defensively, with Collier at the helm, and with Williams as well out there on the perimeter, and everybody else involved, they made life hell on the Connecticut Sun on the offensive side of the ball, and the Sun will do that.
Mm-hmm.
They will have long lulls, where offensively they just can't get something going because so much of their offense is, hey, AT, get the ball and just do something. Make somebody's life a little bit easier. Dwana Bonner didn't have the best of games. Harris didn't have a good shooting game. Mabry, didn't have a good shooting game either. And that's a testament to that Lynx defense, but also it's kind of an indictment on what the Sun are offensively, or what they were this season in the Sun. I feel like this is the third year they've gotten to like this point in the season, and they get bounced up out of there. They've got some things to figure out to get over that hump.
And for the Lynx, like I think you nailed it, both with Courtney Williams and then also Kayla McBride. Kayla McBride is a bucket. She had 24 points last night. Gives you another great shooter. The Lynx have a big three of their own. It's Nafisa Collier, Courtney Williams, and Kayla McBride. And those three allow, and more specifically, like those two players allow for Nafisa Collier, yes, to ball out like she did last night and in the last 3 games. But when she only has, I think she had 9 points in the first game of the series or the second game of the series. And there's enough power around her where she can just dominate defensively, doesn't always have to produce the offensive production because there are other options for this Lynx team. Also, I say this as like kindly and well-meaning. I think Nafisa Collier is like one of the most adorable assassins that we have in sports. Like she just is running out there. She looks like someone that I would just want to go like have a glass of wine with. Like she's got a smile on her face, she's bopping around, and then bam, she's blocking another one of your shots. I am so excited. It puts her and Brianna Stewart up against each other in the WNBA Finals. They were teammates for a year at UConn. They also together, Nafisa Collier and Stewie, created that new Unrivaled League that is a 3-on-3 league coming in January. A ton of star power behind that. Some of the people who are involved, the sponsors are like Alex Morgan, Gino Auriemma, Megan Rapinoe, Carmelo Anthony, Steve Nash, Michelle Wie, Tyus, and Trey Jones are involved in that too. And I think this can produce like a really great marketing opportunity for that league as it's trying to get going. And they are also guaranteed to pay 6-figure salaries, which is huge for women's basketball in the offseason. But it does create just a really exciting matchup. You have either Minnesota, who will become the first team in W history to win 5 titles, or the Liberty, who will finally win their first after 28 long years of never winning one.
Absolutely.
What's your pick?
Liberty. I'm not sure if you can lock them up defensively. Like you'll have to. The Sun at times stop themselves. I'm not sure that the Liberty will do that. And as long as Ionescu realizes that she is probably the best offensive player on the court on both sides of the ball. I mean, I say probably. When she's on, she is absolutely the best offensive player on the court at any given moment. As long as she realizes that and plays like that, plays downhill, attacks the rim, I like the Liberty a lot in this one. Going back to the Sun and their disappointment, just a moment. 2019, they lost in the finals. 2020, they lost in the semifinals. 21, they lost in the semifinals. 22, they lost in the finals. 23, they lost in the semifinals. This year, they've lost in the semifinals. So this is a Sun franchise that is good. Like regular season, good. And then postseason, when they have to win 3 games against the best teams in the W, be it the Lynx this year, Liberty, I would throw the Aces in there as well. They don't have enough to get over that hump. I'm interested to see what they do from a franchise going forward. If they don't decide, hey, I'm not saying break it up, but let's see what is out there. Let's see what we can do from a roster construction standpoint. Now back to the Lynx Liberty. I think that not only with Ionescu being the best offensive player on the court, but they're going to be able to throw a lot of really good players who are big at you. Right? They're going to be able to throw Stewie. They're going to be able to throw Jonquel Jones at you, and that's going to get frustrating for Collier, who isn't going to be able to just go one-on-one. And even when the double comes, you're not being doubled by all defensive players, right? Typically, you're being doubled by somebody on the weak side, not somebody who is one of the best defenders in the league in her own right. So I think that with those two Twin Towers, plus Ionescu, plus Sloot, who's due to have one of those 11, 12, 13 assist type performances, I like the Liberty a lot. I'm going to say Liberty and 4.
I'm hoping it goes 5. Although Nafisa Collier said last night that she was hoping it goes 3, and her coach was like, no, stop talking. Don't talk right now. It does start Thursday, tomorrow night, going up against Thursday Night Football. You know my feelings on the WNBA scheduling and not giving them as great of opportunities as possible to exist where they're not having to go up against football. But that will not be the case tomorrow. And we're in this long stretch of football on every day. So while I would rather it be against like Liberty Jacksonville State, it will be up against.
Which was a weird game. Didn't weird stuff happen in that?
I meant to actually look because I saw somebody say weird stuff happened last night, and then I never went and saw what actually happened. And it wasn't Liberty Jacksonville State. It was Liberty Florida International. Liberty 5-0 after an overtime win. Oh, boy. Yesterday, after we ended the show, the yearly NBA GM survey dropped, which is every year all of the general managers of every NBA team vote anonymously on best teams, best players, coaches, offseason moves, predictions for the upcoming season. They can't vote on their own personnel, so the percentages are based on the pool of respondents to each particular question. Some things that stood out, 83% of them picked Boston to repeat, which would be our first repeat champion in 7 years if the Celtics were to do it. They said the Celtics were the best defensive team and also predicted them to have the best offensive efficiency. All of that comes despite them not having what the GMs would dub as like best players, the players that at least made certain lists. Jason Tatum was listed as the best small forward, and then Drew Holiday was the second best perimeter defender. There's a lot of love for Victor Wembanyama. They have him as the best defender. They have him as the player that they would choose to build a franchise around if they were starting one today. But as it pertains to the Memphis Grizzlies, they popped up a couple of times throughout the survey. One on the Western Conference predictions. They have the Memphis Grizzlies finishing in 6th in the West, behind Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Denver, Dallas, and Phoenix. I did find it notable that at least 3% of the GMs put Memphis with a second place finish, 7% with third, and 10% with fourth. So there are some GMs who are higher on the Grizzlies than a 6th place finish in the West. If I had to predict, I would put the Grizzlies in the top 4, barring health, and I know we have to say that constantly, but let's just like ride into the season with the expectation, even though we've already had injury scares here in the preseason. But I'd probably put them in the top 4. I did think along with that, one of the interesting, like everything ties together, this team runs through Ja Morant, and they have Ja Morant finishing in a 3-way tie for second most likely player to have a breakout season. Would you consider it a breakout season for Ja? Or a comeback season for Ja? The word breakout just feels weird to me because we've already seen Ja Morant have his breakout season, but technically because of how last year went and frankly how the latter half of the season before went, I guess we would consider it a breakout.
No, once you break out,
you're out.
You're out. Once
now I'm coming out of the cage and I'm doing just fine.
You're out. And you want the world to know. So I just did 3% of 30, and it's 0.9. So one GM picked
one
them.
GM.
One GM.
Thank you, mathematics.
And do you think it was? Clog?
They can't vote on their own people.
You can't vote. Okay.
So I would assume, percentage-wise, that perhaps only Eastern Conference GMs can vote on Western Conference finishes. I don't know that 100%. But because you can't vote on your own personnel, wouldn't that mean you can't vote on your own team as it pertains to where they would finish in conference standings?
I'm not sure.
That gets too technical on it.
Too big brain for me.
But we'll just say one.
So 3
Someone
GMs,
believes.
So 3 GMs voted Ja as breakout performer. And again, I don't think he's already broken out.
I know.
If
having
you
him
break out and then you get injured, you're like you said, you're coming back. We know what you are at this point. you're coming
Sure.
back. Yeah.
Like, I appreciate the excitement on what he can be. And I saw Kendrick Perkins yesterday, and I know Kendrick has been up and down and all around on where he stands with the Memphis Grizzlies. But he said something along the lines of, like, Ja Morant, if you put him in a cage with 5 lions, you get 6 lions. I was like, wow, what a description. That's poetry right there. But there is a surge of, like, Ja is back. Ja Morant is one of the most exciting players in the NBA. I had one of my friends texted me a screenshot of a text that her brother sent her this week where he was like, wow, like, Jesse gets to be around one of the best NBA players in the world. And so, like, just the continued recognition of Ja being back and what he means for this team, what he means for the sport in general. I just don't put him in the general breakout opportunity. Victor Wembanyama, I guess, could still break out. Even that one feels like Victor Wembanyama broke out last year in his Rookie of the Year season.
Well,
I think we need to change the language.
I think Wemby might still break out, right? Like has he announced himself like, hey, I'm here and this league is mine yet? I don't think he's announced he's here, but he hasn't announced that the league is his
until
yet.
the Spurs make the playoffs, I guess.
And if the Spurs
has a moment in
if
the
the Spurs make the playoffs, he's going to be a ridiculous statistical freak to watch, right? Wemby's got the like 20-10-10 type thing going on where he can get 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 blocks in a game, right? Like he's got, it feels like to me, he's got that type of a season in him somewhere. And so until he gives that, I don't think he's broken out. So I think you could argue, certainly better than you can with Ja, that Wemby is due for a breakout season.
Other Grizzlies who appeared, which head coach makes the best in-game adjustments? Taylor Jenkins finished tied for 4th with Rick Carlisle and Nick Nurse. Tyronn Lue was first in that category, Eric Spoelstra second, and Mark Dagnall in third. It seems as if GM still view Marcus Smart as one of the best defensive players in the league. While he did not make the list or the worded list of best defensive player in the NBA, he did receive votes within that category. And then he also received votes in the who is the best perimeter defender in the NBA. As for best defensive player, as mentioned, Victor Wembanyama finished first. Bam Adebayo and Rudy Gobert tied for second. And Drew Holiday all tied for second. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, and Herb Jones. And then best perimeter defender in the NBA, that would go to Drew Holiday. One last one. What player is the best pure shooter? There is one answer. It is Steph Curry, but Luke Kennard also received votes. So you had some for Luke Kennard. This is the first time since 2015 when it came to best point guard in the NBA, and Ja Morant did not receive votes, was not in that category, which I think is absurd. But for the first time since 2015, Steph Curry, not the #1 point guard. Can you tell me who is?
Yeah, only because you told me.
Oh, yeah, we did this yesterday.
Yeah, and I can't believe that we're labeling Luka a point guard.
I know.
Wasn't Luka like best point guard and second or third best power forward? Or small forward or something like that? Like Luka was top 3 in 2 different positions. It's like Luka, when I think of point guards, I don't think of Luka as a point guard.
He also finished second in who will win MVP. Any guesses on first? I don't think I told you that one.
Guess on first to win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not Tatum? Who is it?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
If the Thunder are 1, Shai's having a good year.
Also, per your note that Luka made the top 5 on multiple categories. He's #1 on best point guard. He's #5 on best shooting guard, and he's tied for second on best small forward.
Like, come on, man. Luka doesn't play that many positions.
Luka is omnipresent on the basketball court.
Because Luka gets to hold on to the ball for 22 seconds of the 24-second shot clock.
Exactly. All right. Shout out Kai Soto. We have some Kai Soto fans in the chat. You know this show respects and loves Kai Soto.
Like,
not nearly enough votes for Kai Soto.
Did Yuki get voted something?
No.
Best international player?
Best
player
in
Asian
my heart.
player?
No, he did not. Well, he's not, Yuki's on his way up.
But I mean, he's
in the NBA.
He's still Asian.
Hold on, I was trying to find the best international player not in the NBA.
There we go.
No love for Yuki.
Because Yuki is in the NBA.
Yeah, you're right.
Kai Soto should be on that list.
Kai Soto should be on the list. Instead, it is Sasha Vezenkov. 29 years old.
29?
From Cyprus.
29?
He's killing it in Greek Basket League and the Euro League.
Oh, okay.
He's a Bulgarian professional basketball player.
Right.
He's all over the map. Kai Soto should be on the list. You heard it here first. We didn't get to the Super League. That's okay. We'll put it in WTF because I hate the fact that it's named the Rudy Project, and that is big WTF energy. And it is not the same as the Super League that we talked about last week because now we have competing Super Leagues in college football.
This is the move to make.
No.
If you're Memphis, this is the only move you have to play.
I don't think Memphis gets into the Super League.
We can talk
We'll
about
discuss it. We're going to have DeAngelo Williams on up next. We never know what we'll discuss with DeAngelo, but we'll find out after a quick break.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
If you were promised by an assistant coach somewhere $100,000 to transfer to a school, and we got pretty deep into the season, fourth game's coming up, and you still ain't got your money, you walking away like Matt Sluka is at UNLV?
If I'm promised this and the checks aren't coming,
right,
I'm a businessman first, right? Like, forget this academic stuff. These are not student athletes anymore.
Right.
These are paid independent contractors to play football.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all three games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5-point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. It's Wednesday. That means it's time to catch up with DeAngelo Williams. DeAngelo, what's up? What's new?
Okay. I've gone back to high school, and I was today years old, and I want to apologize that I'm late.
Okay.
Let me say, I want to let people know out there that clearly there's a clear distinction between cool parents and lame parents, because I did not know this until today.
What makes the distinction?
I did not know that senior skip day was not organized by the school, that it was organized by a band of seniors that decided that on that day that they were going to skip. And parents just accept the fact that senior skip day is just a day that all the seniors decided not to go to school.
Ours was organized by the school, and it was so lame. We went to the zoo.
But that's what it started happening. Is senior skip day, senior ditch day, whatever you doing for senior day, the school and the parents have started to get involved to keep it from getting outrageous, right? And so it is, okay, they got this energy to be mischievous, let's direct that energy to the zoo. They won't be here, and that's fine, but as long as they aren't destroying property. We had a situation.
Oh, you can destroy things at the zoo.
What did y'all destroy?
Some of our kids got kicked out of the zoo for trying.
What?
I forget. They did not try to get into like a serious
everything's caged up
exhibit. But they were like crawling around, like, you know how there's usually like bush and like shrubbery in front? So they were like trying to take pictures in the bush and shrubbery, and they got yanked out of there. They had to sit on the bus what a lame senior ditch day. You had to sit on the bus.
We had a senior ditch day. We had a couple of them that stood out. One, the seniors blocked all the entrances to the school with their cars.
Oh, that's fun.
And they just parked their cars and then they left. And so where NBA sits, it's like a choke point. So it's causing major traffic jams. Helicopters are flying overhead.
Nice.
Like the news is out there talking about it. They blocked, I was a sophomore this year, they blocked the sophomore parking lot. We got mad. We picked their cars up, only at an all-boy private school. We picked their cars up and physically moved them so that people could get in. And then we took the tires off of one of the nerdier seniors' cars. We didn't do it with anybody who could actually fight. Like, we grabbed one of the nerdier seniors' cars, jacked it up, took one tire off, paraded it around the campus, and then dropped it in the middle of the quad for all the seniors to see.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, if you don't want that type of stuff happening, you got to grab these nerdy-ass seniors and be like, hey, go to the zoo or something, man. Don't be here. We also had flesh paddling was an issue, and I'm sure y'all know about flesh paddling. For those of you who don't know, you grab one person, you stick that person on the ground, and then it's a bunch of people made of flesh that jump on top of that one person. A flesh pal. Yeah, all boy stuff.
Has anyone ever died?
They're close. So we were in an assembly for senior day, and they were like, hey, seniors, don't y'all try anything. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, we won't. And as soon as we walk out, water balloons start hitting the windows. Like, no, we're not listening to y'all. And it was like, it's a mad scramble at that point. It's like being on the African plains and all of the antelope are looking up. It's like, oh gosh, here come the lions. Everybody scatter. And if you went outside, they got you. They placed you on the ground, Jessica, and then they jumped on top of you, stacking themselves on top of you.
I was so jealous. I was always we didn't have any good like senior pranks. Our senior ditch day was organized. I refused to even call it. It was a field trip to the zoo. And all the years before did the same thing. They went to like the Natural History Museum or to a park. You've
got to, if you're a parent or you're a school, you've got to step in.
I'm just upset no one stepped up. I don't want the parents to step in. I want some senior from my class. I want to go back in time and someone to step up and make it right. Do something cool. Wasn't there a show on MTV that was like senior pranks?
I feel like it.
But I feel like I would watch that show and just wish that was my school. Like one time they put something nasty in the air vents, and they had to miss school for a week because it smelled so bad. Cheese. They put stinky cheese in the air vents, and then no one could go to school. Yeah. Why couldn't someone in my class do something where we couldn't go to school for a week?
Jessica, you were in your class. Why didn't you do it?
Because I was a teacher's pet valedictorian. I was not going to be the person.
That's the issue, Jessica. You can't ask other people to take the heat for you. My senior year, we didn't do anything. We had like 3 dudes die the week before. And we're like, yeah, no. We
like die?
No, Jessica, like fake die. Yeah, Jessica, die. What do you mean?
What's wrong with you, Jessica? Nobody just out
Okay, what's wrong with me? CJ just casually rolls over that 3 guys died the week before their senior day.
Maybe the month. Either way it goes. Plane crash, gun accident, and somebody just died in their sleep. And we're like, yeah.
Did you guys have wait, I need to know how your school handled 3 student deaths in a month.
Oh, I don't know. I was fighting for my life. I wasn't paying them no attention. Like, what do you mean?
That's wild.
Yeah, like
okay.
It was tough. It was hard.
Have you processed this?
I don't remember any of those guys' names.
Oh, that's tough.
Can he get through the story, Jess?
No, I find when like kids. Never mind. I was gonna say a sentence that.
Go ahead. You find when kids what? You find when kids die what, Jessica? We are compassionate people. DeAngelo and I are.
I find the response of kids in schools very interesting to when kids die, and I appreciate you saying I don't even remember their names. I remember when a young man died in my class, and I wasn't close with him, and I never pretended to be so. It was very sad. He died of cancer. It was a horrible situation. But suddenly there were like hundreds of people who I'm fairly certain had never spoken to this kid who were like bawling their eyes out and leading the like memorial segments every single day and like changed their entire personalities to pretend like they. I just find kids' connections to grief and how they process it differently with someone who they are either like relatively close to or like not close to at all. I just find interesting the fact that you had 3 in 1 month would have been such an interesting psych study.
But it was just like, hey, I know that one of their brothers was at the school. They both went to the school, but the oldest brother was still there. And was like, hey, man, thoughts and prayers. So if you need something, let me know. But I really didn't have a relationship like that with him. The other guys who had passed away, they were 2 of them were flying a plane. One of them got his pilot's license. They had just graduated. That's what it was.
Oh,
they had graduated the year before, and so there were still kids there who kicked it with them. And so same thing. And then one of them was a junior schooler, and so it's like, yo, I really don't have any real connection with these people, but everybody's sad, and I don't like when everybody's sad. So let me chill out.
DeAngelo, how did we get here? What's
Senior
the
Ditch Day.
I know, but what's the senior
Ditch Day.
But what's the senior ditch day story that led you to this finding today?
So my wife got an email and they were saying, hey, this is not put on by the school. They will be counted absent, you know, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is why I say there's a clear distinction between cool parents and parents that are not cool. Because I immediately went back to like my mom and her telling me, like, you're going to enjoy senior skip day, blah, 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 blah. Me thinking it was put on by the school and now knowing that it was put on by mercenaries blows my mind that she was okay and cool with it. So I started to think, I'm like, what is things that are acceptable by parents, like that are accepted by parents that are not accepted by other parents? Like, I know my kids will never be a perfect attendance kid. Like, do other parents take that serious? Like, hey, my kid gonna go to school every day?
What about this one, DeAngelo? Because I know dudes whose parents encourage TPing their friend's house.
Oh, our parents drove us.
Like, I know dudes whose parents were like big into, hey, y'all want to go mess with the Harrises today? And they would go do it.
Ours were not the instigators of it, but they were accomplices because we couldn't drive ourselves. And so there was a variety of parents who were the getaway cars.
But here's the thing, though. So the stupidest thing ever is toilet paper in the house, because I still don't understand, like, the gratification that you get. Like, what's the purpose?
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you never thrown a perfect roll into a tree? It still makes me get nostalgic for the good old days.
Yeah.
When you throw that roll in the dark night sky and the little trail of the toilet paper is there behind, and it's just like, woo, and it's like a rainbow, and you're like, nailed it. Yeah, it's a good time.
Ding Dong Door Ditch was another one they encouraged. Like, hey, just ring and run somebody. We got stopped by the police one time for that.
I loved it. I did all those things.
But here's the thing, though. Right now, I'm going to tell you the truth. All that stuff that we used to do, egging houses, all that shit will burn me up now. I'm talking about as the parent now, egg my damn house. I got to clean that. Like, you understand the parent side now, not the kid side.
Egg me, I'm rolling up.
So we had
I'm rolling up if you egg me.
We had one house in our neighborhood that we like TP'd all the time. And it was in my neighborhood. And it was like 4 houses down. And it got to the point where my mom would go help with the cleanup because she felt so bad that we constantly were hitting this house. And then I would get dragged to go help with the cleanup. And then eventually you just stopped doing it.
Like, who do you like? How do you choose the house of toilet paper? Like, who says, "Hey, go get the toilet
Okay,
paper"?
this is embarrassing. But in like 8th grade, it started with my basketball team, and we would do like team sleepovers, and it became an activity of like we created a house teepeeing club. Like we had a signature that we would like leave on driveways in chalk. And we would literally open up the middle school. They used to give a book with everyone's address and everyone's phone number in the entirety of the school, a directory, our middle school directory. And like, I don't remember how we would like choose the page and choose where we stopped, but we would at random pick classmates that like we weren't friends with, didn't rock with, like didn't know, underclassmen, and we would just go TP their houses. And then we would leave a signature on the driveway.
The things I would hit you kids
We
with.
wore ski masks.
I'm coming out with the super soakers.
We wore eye black.
Ketchup, super soakers. Rotten egg in the super soaker.
We did
mayonnaise in the super soaker.
It all ended.
Spraying y'all.
It all
Y'all
ended
gonna
when we got chased with a gun.
Y'all
We
gonna-
got chased with a gun, and we never did it again.
Y'all are gonna come
That was
out
the
of
end.
church and just get in your Sunday finest, and I'm hitting you in the hair. Y'all are just gonna catch it. My father. Go ahead, DeAngelo.
I'm shooting my paintball gun.
Man.
I'm hitting I'm wetting y'all ass up. I'm letting you know right now. But I wanted to ask this question though before you get into it, CJ. What was the best toilet paper to throw, and did you throw the same one multiple times?
No,
D'Angelo,
cheap. You go cheap.
Can I be honest with you, D? I went to an all-white private school, and it's only white people I know who do this.
Yeah.
I think this is a two Americas thing. And it's not.
Or I would say
let me-
predominantly white communities because.
Let me do it better. It's only affluent people who do this. Let me take the white out of it because I went to public school with white kids and they weren't doing this. It wasn't until I got around the private school kids with money where they're like, hey, let's go have fun by TP.
Okay, but we were all public school kids, a variety of.
I said affluent.
Yeah, but a variety of economic backgrounds too. Like it's not like the whole community was affluent. There were kids who would be considered like
poor.
I would say like lower middle class, not like poor, like they had food.
I'm sure there were kids lower middle class.
Let's just
the people in charge, were they middle class and up? Because that's what I'm talking about.
No.
Okay.
Frankly.
Well, then I don't know. It might just
No.
be a white people thing then, D. I don't know.
I do think it's a suburb thing is what I would.
This is in the
would
heart of
say.
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think there
Who
is
supplies
some.
the toilet paper. Like I got.
It would
so
be like
many
a team effort. You would like all come in and we would go to Walmart and just get the cheapest toilet paper at Walmart. This was like an epidemic in my community. This is a suburb problem where like you got to find things to do and find like trouble to get into, which I think is a part of it. But our grocery store stopped selling toilet paper after 9 p.m. Like we had a toilet paper curfew.
No way.
Yes, I'm dead serious. I'm not kidding. Or you had to have you had to have someone 21 or up. It was like alcohol to buy toilet paper. Yeah, you had to have a parent come with you. It's all flooding back to me. I'm not kidding. Like everybody did this. You would just drive through neighborhoods on a Saturday morning, and like 10% of houses would be toilet papered, which is a big number. Everyone was doing this, and I would say like a variety of economic.
Economic backgrounds.
But
You're
in the
expert.
community.
You're a variety of economic backgrounds, a variety of religious backgrounds,
Yeah.
a variety of
Mormons
gender.
were doing it. Christians were doing it.
That's not a different. That's not a different religion. No.
What's a different religion?
Aren't Mormons a sect of Christianity?
No.
CJ, I got so many questions, bro.
A variety of races?
If your house got hit with the toilet paper, how did you feel? Did you feel like, was you shamed and embarrassed because you didn't catch the people toilet paper in it?
No, you kind of were like, oh, I'm cool enough to get toilet paper. Like someone cared enough to come toilet paper my house in the middle of the night. Then it became like a flirtation thing. Like you would TP boys' houses, boys would TP girls' houses. It was a whole thing. And then it just died. One day it stopped and nobody was TPing the houses anymore. I think all the parents just got sick of the shit and got sick of cleaning it up, honestly. It was a crazy time. And we got chased with a gun once.
I really want to stamp this as white people shit. I feel
We had-
stamping it as white people.
We had Hispanic people. We had Asian people. We had very few black people in our community, so I'm not going to like...
People or person?
They were victims.
People.
All right, CJ, they were victims of toilet paper, not the ones out there toilet paper, the Asians and the Mexicans. that keep speaking about it.
Absolutely not.
Also, like, one of those groups that's absolutely goes out of their way to identify as white. So like,
I would also
you're calling, you throw one of them out.
Well, I was going to put one more layer
Okay.
on this as we go through it. It became a thing where you would target the really rich houses. Like it became like can we sneak into this gated community? Like none of us lived in the gated communities, so can we sneak into the gated communities? Or, those fancy neighborhoods that don't have a gate but like feel like they do and have security that like rolls around. And so it was like, how wealthy of a house can you TP and get away with it without getting caught? Because some of them had like floodlights or automatic alarm systems. And so then you felt like you were a spy. And you're like rolling around.
All sanctioned by the parents. Again, kids have mischievous energy. You've got to direct that somewhere so they do as little actual damage as possible.
If you're not TPing a house, like maybe you're doing crack.
Maybe.
You never know. The options are there.
Maybe that's what's wrong with the inner city. Too much crack use, not enough
Not enough
TPing.
TPing. It is it's harmless trouble.
Okay.
For the most. Like toilet paper in a house does no damage. Egging a house, totally different. Like my group we did have people who would egg houses, but our parents were like, no. That causes damage. Paint, no paint. Some people would flower lawns where you just would put flour on people's lawns and then the sprinklers would go off. Forking. Yeah. Those things, not allowed. Just some soft toilet paper. Not even soft, scratchy because it was cheap.
I'm trying to get a better understanding of this TP in the house. Like if you throw one roll and you get caught and run off, is that considered toilet paper in it? Or do you have to what's the definition of like toilet paper in the house?
I would assume you got to go through a package, don't you? You got to hit them with a package of 8.
At least a couple rolls.
Yeah.
Before you get
And you
caught.
don't-
Otherwise,
you don't throw the same
sometimes
one
you would
twice?
go back. You'd get caught, and then you'd go back to finish the job.
What is wrong with
I TP'd with I TP'd with one of like the most famous celebrities. Was our getaway car and drove us for a wide portion of our life. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was that. I didn't expect to talk about TPing houses today, DeAngelo, but I appreciate you.
On the topic of fun parents, my dad is in the chat. He wants me to tell you about the fight rule.
Okay.
Where you tell the teacher once, you tell him once, and then the third time you just got to fight it out. Is that a fun parent activity?
Yes.
Okay. So you're counting that as a fun parent activity, DeAngelo?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I've been wanting to fight this person forever, I know I got 2 steps that I gotta get to before I can whoop this dude ass. I tell the teacher, they don't do nothing. I just gotta get it past my dad. And after that, the next time, it's fun. It's fun because he don't even know. He don't know at all. So you knew how many times you got before you got in trouble. But if you jumped off the porch and fought the first time, then you in trouble.
Yeah.
I just needed to know boundaries, and that's what made life fun for me because I knew just how far I needed to go. Yes, that's fun.
That's fun. All right.
DeAngelo.
That wasn't fun to you? See that?
Hell yeah, it was fun as hell to me. I didn't think, but I thought I was a product of my environment, right? I didn't know no better. I struggle at times, DeAngelo, with emotions, particularly with empathy and patience. And so I thought that was I thought that was a me thing. But I'm glad that you found it to be a fun parent activity as well. So Dad, if you're listening, that was some fun. It was a fun parent activity. Whooping dudes' asses up and down hallways. Good stuff.
DeAngelo, thanks for helping us have this very important conversation on Wednesday. We'll see you next week.
I did not know that you was a toilet paper.
Yeah. I was a criminal.
Like, what do you even call them?
A professional TP'er.
TP Queen.
TP Queen. Think you know someone, you find out about their past.
And you know what's crazy is all those toilet paper and skills you got, and you probably trash at cornhole.
Yeah. You'd be correct.
You're not throwing the
completely different sports.
Underhand, though. You're throwing. I bet she's a quarterback though. You can throw a football.
You get the spiral on that thing. I'm
Learned
telling
that in
you.
Little Giants.
You're making me nostalgic.
Let's go TP something.
DeAngelo, we'll see you later.
DeAngelo, be on the
Bye.
lookout. Be on the lookout. We flying in, dog.
I'm not TPing any house in Memphis. No, thank you.
Good. We can go to. What's the furthest you've gone to TP a house?
Not far.
Let's go.
I haven't TP'd a house since 8th grade.
Let's fly to where DeAngelo is.
And TP
TP
DeAngelo's
his
house? Oh, that'd be so fun. Do you think we could get paid by Grind City Media to go on a TP adventure to show how this works?
I mean, it is content.
Do kids still TP houses?
Jessica.
Like, is this still a thing?
I'm not around any kids.
Not either.
I'm not in any community.
And I'm not in any. Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
I don't.
Sure. I am certain if
I'm
you
gonna
talk
call
to
up the people.
Call up an MUS kid. Call up a Christian Brothers kid. And see what they're doing. They might still be out here in these streets, TP.
I wonder how it started.
What do you mean how it started?
Like for us, I'm thinking back on my life
how
now.
It started personally for you?
Yeah, I need to bring this to my therapist in our next appointment. Where was the desire?
I bet your therapist
houses?
would love a break from the ultra serious stuff.
We take lots of breaks from I'm just waiting for. Did you see the tweet that went viral like last week where it was like, my therapist stopped me in the middle of my appointment and said, I can tell you are having a bad day, so I just want you to know you're my funniest client. If my therapist said that to me, I would never need therapy again.
You can't need that type of validation.
I would never need
from
therapy
a therapist.
again.
You straight A student.
I think you go to therapy to
get
help
to get validation
to help you
from
not
the therapist?
to help you not need the validation from the therapist and others. It's the ultimate compliment. Roser's in the chat. He says, Christian Brothers High School grad here. 100% bet they still do it.
Yeah.
Should we TP Vernon's house? He'll never know.
Gary's?
And Gary's? What if we just started TPing? I was going to say Grizzlies employees, but then we could get into the weeds and be like, what if we TP'd Jaren Jackson Jr.'s house?
Okay, careful.
That's too much. That's too much.
There. Careful.
I don't know
That's
where.
a player you went with.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you. I jumped quickly. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about the new college football Super League. It's called the Rudy Project, and they claim they are going to save everyone. But what does everyone mean? We will get into that along with our story time of the day. It looks like our story time is going to be no celebrations for lazy kid with 34% of the vote. Hit that like button. We'll be back with more after a quick break.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Number 9 is going to go into the rafters this year, and so make sure if you don't have tickets already, go grab those.
Okay, then.
March 15th, you know the night now.
Yo,
Tony Allen,
let's
Jersey
go.
retirement night. You got a big time night too. A Saturday night against Miami is this is a great
Yeah,
one.
that's lit. That's lit, man. Big shout out.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all 3 games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5 point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. Some breaking news in college sports world. No more national letter of intent. The NCAA is eliminating the national letter of intent. It's been used for a long time. It definitely is something that has become more and more outdated with how things are going in college sports, revenue sharing, upcoming decisions regarding how players will be paid, what happens to NIL, what happens to these collectives, but it makes sense. But it is such an odd thing. Like, I always think of signing day, and you go sign your national letter of intent, and that is where you're going to go, and that was a big old thing, and now that is, poof, a thing of the past. So representative of the changing of the times. We also keep getting these proposed super leagues with various backers coming out, and we had one 2 weeks ago, which was the College Sports of Tomorrow College Sports Football League. It's a mouthful. They've really got to work on the naming of these leagues. If they get good naming on one of them, I will be willing to jump in and take it a little more seriously.
Just throw big in front of the number, dog. That's
Right
how we're
now,
rolling.
I don't need the Rudy Project. I don't like the movie Rudy, for one.
And it's a movie about underdogs.
Correct.
And you're not bringing
no
the underdogs with
allowed.
you.
But it is a movie about Notre Dame. And former Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick is one of the primary voices of supporting this right now. What we do know is that it's spearheaded by former Disney execs and funded by private equity. I love funding by private equity. According to Ross Dellinger's report, which is long and extensive, and I highly suggest that you read it if you want to understand all the intricacies of this, but it would be a 70-team structure, and it would eliminate all games against a group of 5 or FCS schools. The 70 schools would be shopped as a single entity media rights package. I don't like this one because it completely wipes out all of the little guys, and there is the little guys and the medium guys. Basically what this does is protect the Big 12 and the ACC. So this is going to be met upon. Go ahead.
Is 70 the number of P4 schools?
70 is the number, period.
Is 70 the number right now? We have a Power 4 conference structure.
It is.
70 the number?
70 is the number. Because when the other example came out last week, it was 70 plus 2, and that's where Memphis was involved because the only 2 non-P4 schools were Memphis and Navy in that 72-team model. This is just 70, and so doing the counting within that, yes, it is 70 left.
Okay.
I think one part of this, if I understand correctly, is that the commissioners and like administrators of those leagues would keep their jobs. And so that's always going to be a piece of this. Like, is anyone forced to relinquish power? And if so, that creates more roadblocks, more headaches, because nobody likes to give away power and no one likes to give away money or opportunity. But in this particular model, it sounds as if they would still have roles and everything would exist. I guess the Big Ten and the SEC are meeting about this week, jointly.
That's the thing. This is a 70-school proposed league, and you're only meeting with 30 of them. That tells me right there, hey, 30 of you matter, and I'm sure 30 of you don't want to because, listen, give me one of the schools that matter. If you're Penn State, a schedule that features exclusively programs like Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, USC, UCLA, Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe Wisconsin, LSU. Right, a schedule that features exclusively those types of teams.
Yes.
Hey, that record's going to be like 7-5, 6-6. All right, like that's not going to be as good a record as what you're used to. So to alleviate the stress and strain of, hey, you're good, but you're not as good as the good teams. Mm-hmm. Let's add 40 other schools in here who you can beat up on. And which 40 schools that you can beat up on? Whichever ones you tell us you want in. Mm-hmm. So do you want to keep In the case of Penn State, do you want to keep this Big Ten thing around? Because we can absolutely bring Purdue in for you to beat the hell out of. We can bring in Indiana for you to stomp. We can bring in Illinois. Or would you like us to look around the nation and see, hey, who else could we add here for you to beat the hell out of? And listen, Memphis is sitting right there. You can beat the hell out of Memphis. Memphis will take a nice little pay to lose some football games, and you'll have a deeper market penetration in a really populated area. I don't know how populated Champaign, Illinois is, just for example, but we can bring Memphis in, and they can be your Illinois now, and you can just beat the hell out of them. 30 of these schools matter. The other 40 don't. And if I'm Memphis, I'm trying to weasel my way in to this, and I'm bad-mouthing all of them.
And you're sending all sorts of FedEx connectivity.
Absolutely.
Do you want packages sent in Project Rudy? Do we have a company for you? It is one of those things where like they have to use private equity to make it work, but it's also the nature of the two most important conferences are the Big Ten and the SEC. And so them getting in the same room together, them getting on the same path of things is influential. And if they choose to save, because here's the thing too, they don't have to save the ACC and the Big 12 schools. Like they can easily decide, hey, we're going to shoot off and do our own thing. Or we can pretend to be altruistic and say we're saving everyone, when in reality, you're only saving, you're creating a new balance of power where your schools are the most powerful. And I guess it's not really a new balance of power. It's just more an officially, like the lines are officially drawn, right? The lines are more definitively drawn, where the mid-majors are now the Vanderbilt, because they're at the top of my mind. Mississippi State,
misses of the world,
Indiana,
Vanderbilt's
Illinois.
Not getting in. The two conferences.
They're
SEC,
saying that no one will get. They're saying that nobody in a Power 4 league right now will get left out.
They're liars. They're liars.
You would put Memphis in over Vandy?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Mate. Yeah. No.
You said that quick.
Yeah.
They
I'm
just
thinking
beat
about
Alabama.
I'm thinking about it. That Nashville market does matter. Big Ten and the SEC. I just added them up. I think that's 34 teams. Again, they met with 30. You know, also, I would assume one of, if not all three of Clemson, Florida State, and Miami were one of the programs or some of the programs they also met with.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm not sure if Vanderbilt was at that meeting. I'm not, and I don't want to, sorry for pooping on people's parade. I know it's Cocktober, but I'm not sure if South Carolina was at that meeting. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It is very clearly, because I think that's the number. The number is 30 of these programs truly matter and drive the entire market.
I would actually put it at 16. And the way that this Project Rudy is laid out is a tier system. And so it's the top 16 would earn the most money based on the revenue tier system. Then it's the next 22, and then it's the last 32. So
find a way to get that last 32 spot, Memphis.
Exactly.
Like this is the move.
I would love for the last 32 to be a sliding system of promotion relegation. That would be my preference.
Yeah, why would anybody who's in agree to that?
I understand.
That's where it
you have to get to the point where you don't have the option to agree with it.
Who's going to make that the option?
Exactly.
I understand. Is there any like
again back to the relinquishing power and relinquishing?
Is there any antitrust lawsuits that could
that's
pop
all,
off?
Yes.
So if you're the NCAA, you could step in
that's
here.
That's where
with
I don't know how this works with antitrust lawsuits.
Yeah. That would be the only thing to stop it. You'd have to take this to the courts and be like, oh, we can't have this. This consolidation of power, wealth, and influence. We can't have this.
Continues to be interesting as we see the world turn of college football.
I love it.
We will stay up on it. All right, let's do a little story time. You voted. The people have spoken. The story time of the day is no celebrations for Lazy Butt Kid. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she actually has to do things to get celebrated? I have a 16-year-old daughter, Caddy, and a 14-year-old, Jake. Jake is more of an achiever. He's involved in sports, does great in school, and recently won an award for community volunteering. We have been celebrating his achievements, usually with a dinner out.
Nice.
I love a nice dinner to celebrate oneself. I still do that. Just a little treat. I had a good day. Should we go out to dinner?
Yep.
Absolutely. They're prepping them for their future. Caddy, on the other hand, doesn't do much. She hasn't been putting effort into anything lately. She basically just goes to school and then exists in the house. She spends her free time on her phone or watching TV, doesn't have any hobbies or interests outside of her friend group, and doesn't put much effort into schoolwork. This results in her not getting many celebrations outside of her birthday. We stopped forcing her to do sport or other clubs when she hit high school. Caddy came to me and said she feels like it's unfair we celebrate Jake, and I decided to have a conversation with her. I sat her down and explained that we love her just as much. But if she wants to be celebrated like Jake, she needs to put effort into something.
Do something, you little dweeb.
Find
what are
a
you
hobby.
talking about?
I suggested she try finding something she's passionate about or work harder in school, that she should make her own goals to work towards. I thought I was being honest but gentle. Caddy did not take it well. She exploded, accusing me of playing favorites and said it was unfair that Jake gets all the attention just because he's always doing things. She even lashed out at Jake, telling him that he was the golden child and she was tired of hearing about how great he was. Jake was hurt by her outbursts, and now things are awkward between them. Caddy has been avoiding both me and her brother since, staying in her room or giving us the silent treatment. My husband thinks I could have phrased it better, but I believe this was an important reality check for her. If she isn't going to do anything, then there isn't anything to celebrate. Edit for everyone claiming I never talk or am around my daughter. She literally just went apple picking with her father this weekend. I'm spending almost every day teaching her how to drive. We went shopping on a spa day earlier this month. Her father is a teacher. Her father is teaching her how to change tires and how to work basics of the car. That's been happening every weekend for months. Me and her have been watching a show every Thursday with her for months. That's just this month. So the communication is there. This girl's just not doing anything.
Yeah.
She's a freeloader.
And she wants to be.
She wants to freeload the celebrations.
She wants to have a pat on the back for just existing, and that's not how this works, sweetheart.
Man,
That's
I wish I got a balloon for existing.
Well, there's some in there I can get you.
Yeah, but like.
Do you want a balloon?
One with helium in it. A not CJ blown up balloon. No.
This one was blown up by D-Nell.
Oh, that's so sweet. Good try. Good effort. I don't think you're gonna. Oh my gosh, you did it. That was impressive.
That's your balloon.
You have to do things. Now, I don't understand this life because I was overscheduled. Like maybe all along I was just trying to find a million reasons to celebrate. Piano recital, celebrate. Basketball game, celebrate. Golf tournament, celebrate. Kumon, celebrate.
At a certain point, when did your parents let you decide what you were and weren't going to do?
Always.
Okay.
If I wanted to try something,
But you just
if we could make it
to.
work.
Got you.
If it like financially made sense and schedule-wise made sense, they would squeeze it in. I was also an only child, so that helped tremendously. But I was able to figure out what I was good at. But I also, I always loved school. Like it took no coaxing from my parents. I wanted to do schoolwork.
Yeah.
So that was always an easy celebration. But my parents didn't celebrate my parents didn't believe in celebrating grades like that.
But if you're making good grades, the faculty recognizes you as a student worth putting time into.
Right.
And then they start encouraging you to do stuff outside of the regular schoolwork and the regular class, right? Like that's how this works. And also, like I know you right now, didn't know you as a child, but I bet you were a pleasant child to be around. And so they would want more children like you in the extracurriculars. That's how it works. Whereas with me, like, oh, he is a knucklehead. We, for his safety and ours, we probably need to give him something to do. So go play this sport, go play that sport, go do this, right? Like I remember 8th grade year, I didn't make the baseball team. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to do a sport. And they're like, oh, hell no. You are absolutely doing a sport. Go play lacrosse. They just wanted me to do stuff to keep me focused and to keep me from doing terrible things like tearing up the school.
Like TPing houses.
So like every kid is different. I do think, though, that in the 9th grade, if you haven't already, that is about when you should say, hey, kid, you got to start taking control of your life a bit more, because in 4 or 5 years, you're gone. You decide what you want to do. And if she has decided not to do anything, like what she wants to do is nothing, then hey, you don't get the celebrations.
If she wants to do nothing, she's thinking about this all wrong. You should ride on the coattails of your brother's celebrations.
Yes.
You still get to go out to the dinner.
You still get to go
I would
to the
assume
dinner.
every now and then they have cake. Maybe they go to a Dairy Queen. I don't know, that's what we did often. Go get a Blizzard. You just did this? Have a Blizzard.
Yeah.
You would also get to go. So
Yeah,
just
but
go with your brother. I know it's not about you.
And that's what it's about. She seems selfish in a really concerning sort of a way.
This is one of those parenting conundrums that, it is good parenting.
This is damn good parenting.
It's very good parenting,
Sit them
but
down
it stresses me out about
and talk
children.
to them like, hey, you're old enough for us to have this conversation. You want a celebration? You got to do something, dog. You don't do shit. We're not celebrating that. You're mediocre, and we don't celebrate mediocrity.
And it can be anything. Like show passion
Anything.
in something.
You tell me what you want to do, and we'll go do it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be music, sport, Like, what if you're really passionate about video games, but not in a lazy way, in a productive way?
Go do it.
Go do it. Read a book.
Read a mother bleeping book.
Yeah, you read a book. You get. I try not to. I always, because we do this, like reward with food.
Yeah.
It's like you read a book. Pizza party.
There we go.
But they say that's not a good thing to do.
They're idiots.
I agree.
Check this out. I read so many books as a kid
because I could get pizza.
When I could get the Pizza Hut pizza.
I know.
I stopped getting the Pizza Hut pizza, and guess what I stopped doing? I stopped
right
reading.
now.
I heard. What is it? Books a Million or whatever?
I think so.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. But no, you've got to do stuff in this life if you want to achieve anything and if you want to be celebrated.
Pizza Hut is giving away 1 million free personal pan pizzas to celebrate the 40th anniversary of its popular Book It program.
Book It!
And readers of all ages can cash in.
Let's go.
We'll give away, use code BOOKIT40 at checkout online or on the app. How do they prove that you're reading?
I don't know.
I can cheat?
Well, you can't.
I wouldn't. I'm reading a book right now.
Actually
I'm reading 2 books. I'm reading a book and listening to an audiobook, and it's really taking a lot of my attention. All right, let's do some WTF stories. Oh, the parent's not the a-hole. Not the a-hole.
No.
Good parenting.
That child is.
Mhm.
And you got to, lecture that out of them.
Okay, I saw these shoes in the wild, and I had to send them. I had to look them up, and then I had to send them for WTF because I cannot believe they actually exist. Clogs are huge this fall, and Crocs has come out with a Doodle Clog Croc. You can buy these for $89.99, and you can wear little doodles on your feet in the shape of a clog. I don't know how I feel about these. I don't know if these should exist. I say that as somebody who has a pair of fluffy boots. You see them once a year when it snows or ices, and they are big, giant, pink, fluffy fur balls. And I now recognize why people look at me like I'm crazy, because that's how I looked at the person who was wearing these doodle clogs. Would you like a pair?
No, I wouldn't want a pair of this.
That's too bad.
What is it? Is it soft though? Is it
They
doodles
look
on the
soft.
inside?
Yes. Oh no, it's not doodles on the inside because you have to have stickiness to keep them on your foot, so you don't roll an ankle or lose the clog, a croc clog.
Yeah, this
Crocs is out of control, which I don't mind. They have a business plan where they've become more than just the traditional Crocs, but this is a step too far. This is just one step too far.
Yeah, no, I'm not rocking with that. Although bell bottoms
could maybe
in the Croc clogs
could maybe
the Croc doodle clogs. What are we calling those? Doodle clog Crocs. What are they?
Doodle clogs.
Doodle clogs.
They're doodle clogs.
Where's the Croc part come in at?
Well, they're a Croc brand.
So we go Croc doodle clogs.
Yeah.
The CDC. You and these CDCs and
Yeah.
some bell bottoms and a
Yeah.
big old peace necklace. I think you could rock it.
Okay.
You should wear it to the game. It will help you reach Jaren.
Moving right along. Very serious. I'm short, and I know it. Yeah. I hit you with the.
Oh my word. Kyra, get your girl, dog. She got attitude.
Thanks, Kyra. Appreciate it. Always. Something that I don't love hurricanes. I don't love Hurricane Milton. I am very concerned for the state of Florida, particularly Central Florida, particularly Tampa, where it appears that Hurricane Milton will make landfall later today. It has gone from a Category 5 to a Category 4. At some point yesterday, it went down from a 4 and back up to a 5, but it is now back down to a 4, and we will see what it eventually makes landfall of. This video of the time lapse of Hurricane Milton is crazy. When you can see the eye of the storm, it is treacherous. It is just one of those really scary things. And seeing people, I was on TikTok yesterday for about 45 minutes, an hour. I allowed myself just to scroll and take some time. The number of people sharing their stories of staying in Tampa or that area was highly concerning. And some of them from a sense of necessity, some from a stance of this is my house. I'm going to protect my house. Out of, what's the word? Insolence? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
I think insolence.
Stubbornness would also work.
Pig-headedness.
So it's one of those hard things because I empathize so much with people who get stuck somewhere, right? And can't get out. And we've seen so many videos of the traffic of trying to get out, of the gas situation, of people who have been stuck in the traffic so long and then there's no gas. But I was watching a meteorologist yesterday explain that it's not always a matter of the privilege of being able to like pay for a flight to get out early or leave early enough because you can leave your job or drive ahead of time somewhere. Sometimes like 5 miles can make all the difference. And they have all of these shelters. They have a lot of shelters prepared for people. And if you just drive 5 more miles inland, it could be the matter of life or death based on what this storm surge can be. They're predicting the storm surge to be 10 to 15 feet high. That's crazy.
Yeah. 10 to 15 is...
No clogs are keeping you high for 10 to 15 feet high.
10 to 15 feet high. Like, that's taller than Zach Edey. So for those of you who saw him at practice, look up and understand you still got feet, 5, 6, 7 feet to go before you get up there. Also, that is higher, 10 to 15. Pretty sure that's higher than the stop sign on your street. I think the stop sign on your street, the top of that is 9 feet.
Yes.
And so it's above that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just under maybe some stoplights. Like, that's how much water there's going to be. I hope everybody is, if you're staying, be safe, man. I don't know what to tell you.
So I've become emotionally attached to one TikToker who, there's a young man who is sharing the story of a man who goes by Lieutenant Dan. And he goes by Lieutenant Dan, one, because his name is Dan, but two, he has one leg. So it is an homage to Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. And he's a character. And he wrote out Hurricane Helene on his sailboat in the Tampa Bay. And now he is steadfast that he is going to stay on his sailboat for Hurricane Milton. The first video came up, I became lost in like 30 videos of Lieutenant Dan. People have raised over $10,000 to buy him a new boat to try to convince him to leave. Police have gone and said there is some possibility that they could do a forced evacuation today to get this man to safety. But it is one of those really sad things to watch because I think the fear in his brain is like, if I lose this boat, I lose everything. And so I'm going to stay with this boat. Here's a video of Lieutenant Dan so everybody can know what I'm looking at. This is like one of... It also feels so icky that this has become like a reality television program almost. Like, oh, I'm going to keep track of Lieutenant Dan during the hurricane. But this is who he is. He's taken over the internet.
All right, Dan, the people that are new, explain to them why you're deciding to stick out a Category 5, one of the worst hurricanes in Tampa history, out on a 20-foot sailboat in Tampa Harbor.
My faith in God. I don't put my faith in man. God told me to come out here and get a boat. I came out here and got a boat. And everything that he's been telling me over the last 2 days is I'm doing the right thing. He's got my back. I'm in good shape. I ain't sweating it. We're going to ride this one out. We got set up the way we know what we're doing. And as long as the water just keeps rising, we'll be fine.
Will you be wearing a life jacket?
Hell no.
Are you going to be able to swim if it need be?
In circles.
Can you swim with one leg or what?
Yeah, I can float like a damn champ, but swimming I just go in circles.
So the plan's just to stick it out here?
Yeah, I mean, the water's gonna come in, it's gonna rise. If you're on land, it's gonna flood, you're risking drowning. I'm in a boat. The boat goes up with the water. So even if the boat goes up 100 feet in the air, I'm gonna be up 100 feet in the air with the water. So it's really, the safest place in the world to be is on my boat, and I got room for one more female.
Give the people some words of wisdom out there.
You know what to do. Just be safe. Don't do stupid shit, and we'll all be all right. We'll be here. We'll be here tomorrow and the day after.
Perfect, man. Let's go one day at a time. Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, it stresses me out. I'm rooting for Lieutenant Dan, and I really hope they convince him to leave his sailboat.
Stay on the boat. He's made his peace.
I know, but it reminds me of the man in the boat parable. Like the classic, you know, the story of the man in the boat who is drowning and he's praying and
God
sends a boat, sends a person, sends a helicopter, and he keeps saying like, no, I'm praying to God. God will solve this. And when he dies and goes to heaven, he says, I kept praying, like, where were you? And he says, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. I sent you this person. Like, this man has been sent, this TikToker who has made him into a TikTok celebrity from Helene. And he made it through Helene, which is incredible. And so I think there's some like semblance of I can do it again, but this is supposed to be so bad. And it makes me sick to my stomach watching all of it.
It's one thing to be too poor to leave. It's something to be something else to be like old and unable to leave. It's another thing entirely to see it coming and to be stubborn and say I just refuse to leave. And so if that's how you are, man. Free country, freedoms of choice and things like that. Whatever happens, happens. I pray that you make it, but if you don't, you don't. Like I can't give stubborn people that type of energy, right? You can't save people from themselves.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If that's what you want to do, you got it, man. Good luck to you. Wish
Also,
you the best.
the other piece of the internet that is just driving me insane, the people going to Disney World. We talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Disney World is closing also.
Yes, but they're convinced that Disney World, there is a large portion of the internet who will not have their vacation ruined. Like, somebody put together a thread of all of the worst Facebook posts they've seen about Disney World vacations, of people being like, I'm flying out Thursday, and if the airport's still closed, should I fly into this airport and drive, or should I fly into this airport and drive? And then other people just, like, confirmation bias saying, oh, if I were to have to be in a hurricane, there's no place I'd rather be than Disney World. It's one of the safest places on earth.
No,
the
it's
Disney
not.
Okay, one,
it's
really
the most
pisses me
magical
off.
place on earth or the happiest place on earth. Not the safest place on earth. That's not a mantra they
Florida's
have.
the most magical. I think it's absolute BS that all of these employees of Disney have to keep working to protect all of the other people who are deciding that their Disney vacation is more important than strategizing and thinking like, maybe I shouldn't be trying to go to Disney World this week because it drives me absolutely bonkers. And like the influencers who are making money off of trips to Disney right now and still posting their content, and like they'll be crying. They're like, I just feel so bad. I'm like, this is so gross. The influencer
crying about what?
That they're there, that their trip might get.
Don't be there. What are you talking about? You're the reason you're there.
One person I saw yesterday was talking about how their hotel accommodations were promising them that they have like a level of preparedness. And someone in the comments said, oh, don't worry, Disney hotels would be the #1 place I would want to be during a hurricane. And then she commented back, she's like, well, unfortunately, I'm not at a Disney property, but I hope this group is just as prepared as they would be.
You know where I would like to be?
Not
in the hurricane's path. That's the best way to be. That's the best. So it's one thing to be there and stubborn and refuse to leave. It's something else to be a jackass and
It's
to fly in.
disgusting to fly in or drive in.
Come on.
Or figure it out. And they're saying
I'm
that they're non-refundable, and that just can't be true.
I hope. It is Disney. But I would hope in this moment they would say, hey, we'll work with you the best we can to try and get you here within the next couple weeks, month, year, what have you. I know it's fall break and a lot of people are trying to take advantage of that, but come the hell on. This is a hurricane that's going to do unspeakable
Disney is
damage.
still open. I was just checking because
I think they close. I think
today.
Either today or
they were
tomorrow.
open yesterday.
They're open tomorrow.
Universal was open yesterday as well.
And Universal is closing also.
But this is on them too for not closing the park ahead of time, trying to squeeze out every last dollar before you have to close.
Everybody, check it out. A hurricane is coming. You can pause.
I see what. Yes, they are all closing today.
Are they closing today?
They are all closing today. Open until 2.
Okay, and then they're closing.
And then they will be closed tomorrow.
Thursday.
Yes.
Hey, come on, man.
Yes. And SeaWorld as well, and Busch Gardens.
If you're a boss of a company down there and you hadn't closed your offices, like shame on you as well. Come on, man. I can't be up here lecturing you about things that is common sense.
And if you are still going, don't post about it on the internet, you morons. If you want to be a bad person, go for it. But do not share it and inspire other people to be bad people so you all congregate together.
Don't share it. I need to know. I need to know so I know who to stay away from. So.
Wow. None of my friends are at Disney World this week, so we'll consider that good. Anyway, our heart goes out to everyone. I hope, hopefully this hurricane does not do the damage that is anticipated to. But if it does, that the level of preparedness helps as many people as possible get through it. We will be back tomorrow. It will be a Thursday. Teresa Walker is going to join us. We will talk to her. The Titans will be back in action this week. We'll talk about Tennessee's big upset loss to Arkansas and how they can potentially bounce back. Big college football weekend ahead. Lots of exciting games to look out for. It will also be the first Grizzlies preseason home game. CJ, will you be attending the first Grizzlies preseason home game? Okay. I will be, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Wait, is Brevin?
Thursday?
Tomorrow's Thursday?
Tomorrow's
Thursday?
I'll text them and see.
I think we'll have Brevin Knight on tomorrow to talk about the Grizzlies, which would be very, very exciting. We'll be here. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Bye. can't stop thinking about the girl from North Country. I just want to read more Reddit threads about the girl from North Country.
The play?
Yes, the play. Was there anything else to talk about?